Hi all, welcome to another webinar, and this one is about understanding the quality of your Salesforce data. Today we're going to show you our latest app that we have introduced, that we have added to our portfolio, Plauti Context. And next to me is Joshua, and Joshua is going to tell you all about it. So he's going to tell something about the background, and also demos what you can do with it. During the session, you can ask your questions in the Q&A, or during the session or at the end, we'll get back to those. I'll hand over to Joshua.
Thank you, Johan. Welcome everyone to this Plauti Context, basically product launch webinar. Normally we do a webinar about the latest release of our other apps, but this time we purely focus on our latest application, Plauti Context. So I think let's get to the first slide.
Nice.
So the question every Salesforce admin gets asked is the following, right? And I think you've heard that before, maybe even today. And that is, how good is our Salesforce data really? That is a question that comes up every now and then, and it's an important question because this question you need to ask yourself before you start any big project, before you create a big report, a dashboard, or any AI initiatives, really. But the truth be told is that most admins can't answer that specific question that quickly. And basically, here's why. I just try to explain that. So let's say what actually happens when a report looks wrong. Let's say it's a Monday morning or a Tuesday morning, maybe it's Tuesday morning for you, and you see a manager walking up to your desk, and you hope that he's not stopping at your desk. And once he's there, he opens his laptop and he shows you a report. And he has some questions about the numbers, about the graphics that he sees, and he says, why does this report look wrong? And that's how your day starts. He didn't bring a coffee for you. You didn't have your cup of coffee yet. Yeah. And then
he's angry.
And that's how your day starts. And you had all beautiful plans that day. And now you need to start digging because it's not that easy to see at a glance why a report or a dashboard looks bad, right? And maybe you're a new Salesforce admin. Maybe you work there already longer. But yeah, you're going to take some time to investigate basically in that report, the dashboard, whatever it may be. You do a deep dive, you run queries, you look at the records, SQL the data, you look at different aspects of that report, of the dashboard, try to find something to see what might be wrong, what might influence the numbers, what might be maybe the pipeline that's good, it looked healthy, and then suddenly it doesn't look healthy. It can be email campaigns that don't work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Agentforce sends out all wrong email content or does wrong actions based on some kind of wrong data. And you try to look for fields that it holds clean data, basically. And you might spend hours or days investigating and come up with a solution. And based on experience, based on answering these type of questions, you might make a gut feel call, right? It's all in your head. Most of the time it's not documented. You write it down somewhere, maybe you save it somewhere on your laptop, or maybe you still use an old notebook to write it down physically. But most of the time it's invisible to anyone else, specifically someone who comes after you. And basically this is something that the market agrees with, right? This is a real problem. If you look at the Salesforce state of data, 84% say that the data strategy needs to have a complete overhaul before any AI initiatives can succeed, but also reports or other projects that don't need AI.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so it's not only AI.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than that, but we are now in the AI era, so it's also there. You can see that. And from Gartner, more or less 12.9 million is being spent on the quality per organization. It costs that much of poor quality per organization. And I hope to see that with Plauti Context, we try to fix this exactly, this thing to help you with analyzing what's wrong without spending hours and hours doing investigation and always act after the fact something happened, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show the product because I showed enough slides, but nothing yet of the product itself. Yeah, so let's go to the product over here. And as you can see here, Plauti Context lives within Salesforce like all our other applications. Maybe you're not familiar with it yet, but we also offer a deduplicate solution, routing solution, validating data, manipulating data, and restore data, restoring a merge, for example. And next to it, with a new badge, we have Plauti Context to analyze basically your data, your metadata about your object, about your key fields that you want to use. And right here, this is our homepage. You can see here already your field types, configuration, the objects that you can work with. And like our other products, we work with account, contact, and leads, but also with other standard objects like opportunities or cases, but also with custom objects, right? Because everyone has custom objects where they store custom data with custom fields. And we work with all that. Before I go into the configuration of it, I want to go immediately to the job results. That's over here. And as you can see here already, there are some scheduled jobs on a daily basis at midnight, analyzing all my leads. And let me open the results for this one. And what you can see here is already a whole list of analysis. There are 24 of them. I'm not going to go through all 24 of those analyses, but I want to pick a few of those and share them with you and what you can do with that. So first, to start with, I want to show you the duplicate value rate. And as you can see, the duplicate value rate is analysis is applied on a couple of key fields. And one more thing about the job, it's all runs on Salesforce itself. It analyzes the whole object on Salesforce. So the records are not downloaded, analyzed out of Salesforce. It runs on a batch job, in a Salesforce batch job. So no data is leaving Salesforce. So it's all in there. And all the results are also stored in Salesforce. So back to the duplicate value rate, here you can see some key fields. And you get immediate insights if you have some exact matches on your name field, on your email field, phone field. So basically those fields that should be more or less unique key identifiers. And here you can see immediately if you have a duplicate issue, yes or no.
Yeah.
And this, yeah.
Yeah, so it exactly tells us in this case that you have a 33.1% duplicate full names.
Full names.
Yeah. Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, that's bad for this example. And also for the email, most of the time, that's a really unique identifier. There might be a few duplicates if spouses share the same email address, for example. But from here, you can see, okay, we have a duplicate issue, so we need to do a deduplicate cleanup, basically, initiative. So that's what the story tells here. Another one, for example, is the fill rate. You can see here a little bit on average how the fill rate is. So I have a lot of fields, 11 fields between the 40-60% of fill rate. So you see here the fill rate distribution. But here below, you see also some fill rates from other fields, maybe key fields. Here at the top, those are the mandatory fields. Yeah, they have a very high fill rate. For example, here you see already the first name drop off a little bit, the email, the lead source, and the industry.
And what could be the impact? Yes, do you have some examples? Like
Yeah.
Okay, I can imagine what the impact is when we don't have email populated, but like other fields, what's?
Yeah, for example, the industry. For routing your records, it's often segmented based on the industry, the country as well. The lead source, you want to know where your leads come from. So if you don't have the source, you might have maybe a web form problem that you don't capture that it comes from a web form.
Oh, so yeah.
Don't know where the interaction came from. So that kind of things, that's then a problem. And if you want to segment data, report on that data, then yeah, you miss part of it.
Yeah, correct.
And that can be inside. And this is basically when a job runs, it's a snapshot of your data at that moment. So then when you schedule a job, you get snapshots of those intervals, and then you can see later a trend later on that. And here below, you see again the number-wise, so also at glance with the green, amber, and red colors, you can see if something is good or bad. Another analysis, we have some date analysis to see future date, past date, threshold, date ranges. We have a number analysis to see outliers there. Maybe you have a really high number on a couple of leads or opportunities that pump up, inflate your pipeline. That might not be visible at glance. Another one here is the inactive Picklist usage, for example, for the lead source. It already had a low fill rate percentage, but now you can also see that there are still inactive value usage, which might also hurt your automations, your segment reporting, right? Maybe even your routing. And if I go a little bit up, if I go back to the Picklist, you also have here the active Picklist value distribution. Then you can see if from, for example, the lead source, if there are maybe web links broken, if maybe some kind of source is overpopulated, yes or no. If something is barely used at all, some kind of source, should you still invest in that then? If there's no leads coming in from some kind of source where you pay heavy for?
Yeah, we all know that.
Yeah, that kind of things. So here you can run a job. You can see, you can basically assess how your data looks like, and then you need to act on it, right?
Yeah, because that's the thing, because this is a nice overview.
Yeah.
But then you need to build up some kind of strategy or implement tools where you can maintain the data and see, and then with the trend analysis, see how you're doing and if your investment is worth the effort, let's say.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. And before you do that, it's good to set thresholds, to set some kind of KPI, what is good, right? And that is something that you can do in the context setup. Every company is different. They have different standards. Every field is also different, has different standards. So it makes sense to configure that, have a specific configuration per field. And if I go back to, for example, the fill rate, here I'm in the lead configuration. You see here a few tabs. Under analysis types, you see here all the different analysis that you can do at this moment. And one of the things that you can do, for example, for fill rate, if you click on configure, you can see here for which fields it is enabled. And also one of the do's is to only basically analyze the fields that you're actually interested in. And if you're not using a field, or if some fields are not important at all for you, no need to analyze that with all the types of analysis that we offer.
Yeah.
And what you can see over here.
Because what's the impact if we do, if a customer analyzes all fields? Is that like storage issue, or is that?
Yeah, it's a Salesforce batch job. So if you run all analysis on all possible fields, it takes long. It can take quite long. You might run into some Salesforce limitations because it runs all on platform. So the advice is to only analyze the fields that you actually use, use in reporting and for your projects.
Just like what we do with Plauti Restore. I mean, basically only track what you really need. No unnecessary tracking.
Yeah, that's the same what you do with also Salesforce history tracking. You only analyze those fields that you actually want to track, right? The same holds for Plauti Context. And here you can set your threshold, what is good, what is not good for you. And this is good for humans, right? Because at a glance, they can see green, it's good, amber, it's bad, red is critical. You have really a business problem instead of a data problem. You really have a business problem. So you can apply this one. But in the future, on the roadmap, when you want to work with AI also needs to know what is actually be considered good. Maybe if you see 80%, he doesn't know still if it's good or not. So setting these thresholds correctly, AI can check that as well and see, okay, for the city field, 95% and higher, that's a good fill rate. If it's lower than 85, it's critical. I probably should not use that field for my analysis, or at least mention it in the report.
Yeah, that's a smart one.
So per field, you can enable it. You can set the threshold. You can set a default threshold and override it with a different threshold if needed. And basically, you can do this for each analysis, right? For date ranges, for example, you can set date literals. For example, you have date literals between 18 years and 110 years if you work with birth dates, for example. But also with duplicate value rate, you can set if it should be case sensitive, yes or no. And yeah, all that kind of things. And also good to know if you don't know what an analysis does, here at the top you see exactly what it's meant for and what you can do with it.
Yeah.
Once you've configured everything for all the analysis, and if you need to go back and you want to know, oh, what type of analysis did I configure for the city field or for the lead source field, you can go to the Fields tab. You can go to that field. There's also a search at the top if you work with 800 fields, for example. You can go to that field, you can click on configure, and you can see per field also which analysis are enabled. And you can make those changes over here as well. One other thing that you can configure, that's the scheduled analysis. And here you can see if you want to run it on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. And also then on which day, if you do it on a weekly or monthly basis, and also at the time. Then you can see when it ran last time and when the next scheduled run is. That's basically what you should do before you act, right? So you set the threshold so that you know, okay, these are the thresholds that I want to hit. And then you can start off with your cleanup, with your data initiative, right? And once you did that, and it runs jobs every day, every week, you can see if it improves.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. So yeah, how can you see that it improves then? Because
yeah,
that's what you want to do. But meanwhile, maybe we can answer one question.
Yeah,
Joshua.
sure.
Or there are two nice questions came in. Can you analyze the fields by record type?
Right now, it's analyzing all fields for the whole object. There's no segmentation there. But if we hear from you guys, hey, we need to segment configuration per record type, let us know as well, because we want to build this tool also for you, for your needs. So if there's a real need, then we can make some kind of segmentation configuration, for example, per record type.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Smart one. And the other one is, does Plauti Context work with the other Plauti suite products like deduplicate, verify, manipulate?
In the future, it should be possible. Right now, no, but that's something on the roadmap, right? Yeah. That you can use Plauti deduplicate for the duplicate value rate. But also in Plauti deduplicate, we have an AI scenario builder. It would be cool if that one can use Plauti Context to see, hey, which fields have a duplicate issue, and can I use and has a high fill rate.
And should be part of the scenario then.
Yeah, and should then be part of the scenario or being left out of the scenario, right? So if a user says, I want to use a phone field, but it's only filled for 20%, then yeah, will it be a good field to use for your scenario?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
But yeah, there are plans indeed to use our other apps also to connect those to Plauti Contexts. Or maybe some kind of API integration that you can talk with that with Plauti Context via AI. Going back, so you have assess your fields, your object. We have then act on the results. You can run a data cleanup initiative, a deduplicate initiative, maybe some standardization, because we also have a format pattern analysis. Maybe you need to do some mass update or some mass delete on old records that you're not using anymore because the view date and the last modified date, the last activation date is in the past of 5 years. And once you've done that, you want to monitor, right? You want to see if your data initiatives actually had impact. And that is something that you can do in the context library. Now, the context job and the context setup, that's mainly for admins to configure. So we also have two permission sets, one for user, one for admins. And the end user permission set only has access to the context library. Also the context job, but it cannot run jobs. And from the context library, if I go here to the lead object, first of all, you see here some metadata about the lead, how many fields it has, how many records. And in the future, you see also record type. In the future, you want to see also if certain fields are used in Apex classes, flows, page layouts. But from here, let me first go back to the job results. What I showed you here was that the fill rate was quite low, for example, on the lead source. We had quite high inactive picklist usage on the lead source. Once you fix that, or you did some data initiatives, quality initiatives, you can go to the context library. You can type in here your field that you want to know more of, for example, lead source. And from here, you can see I ran a new job already. You can see here also the trend. Okay, you did some data initiatives, and you see here already a 28% increase comparing to your last analysis job. The inactive picklist usage, it dropped now with 50% because you updated that. You use now the active picklist usage. You must update maybe with Plauti manipulate to set inactive picklist values to update those to the ones that you actually use. What you also can see here are the results view, and here you can see a trend over time. So you can see here with each data point how it was at that point of time, and at the end you can see here, okay, now it's 100%, and you see here it's already green. So in the future you'll see here a green line further on. And also with the inactive picklist value, you can see here that it dropped, and that basically your initiative worked quite well. But it can also work the other way around, right? You bought some kind of application to get some enrichment, and then you see suddenly that something went wrong because the duplicate value rate increases and that kind of things. So you can see that all in the history view.
Yeah. So and then you can prove management. Okay, we spend this money, and here we see the results. It's going up.
Yeah.
Or that our marketing campaigns run smoother. We have less bounces because data is on par now.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. And what you can see over here, it also has some metadata about the field itself. We also intend to have here some more metadata in the future, like if this field is actually on a page layout, or people have actually access to that field, or if it's safe to delete such fields. But also more importantly, if it has a description, yes or no.
Yeah, to understand what that the AI understands what it does.
Yeah.
What it's used for.
Yeah, exactly. Because if it doesn't know the description, it should guess based on other things, and it might hallucinate and give a totally wrong analysis of that. Going back, I think that's what I want to show you in this demo. Let's go back to the slides, or do you have some kind of other remarks that you...
Yeah, we have some. There came one question in on that first on the analysis about the fill rates results report. So it came in from Melody. Is this one still applicable if they already maintain certain fields to be set as mandatory?
Yeah. On one hand, it's good to make it a required field, right? A mandatory field. It might be still that it was set required or mandatory after the fact, so you might still have old records that still have no field value, right? So it's something. But yeah, maybe also, for example, for the email rejects, I didn't check that, but maybe there is a way for Salesforce to you can have a mandatory field just on the page layout, or a mandatory field just that is a setting, right? For a field.
Yeah.
Maybe it's configured wrong. That you think it's required because on the page layout is required, but maybe it's not required on the field itself.
Yeah.
And then,
or if you do an API insert or so of data, that it
might be. I think so.
Populated.
Yeah. So it still makes sense to have that in case you think it's required.
To be on the safe side.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So that one is answered. Well, the record type, that's clear. We're gonna have a look at that one. Plauti Context, is it part of the suite, or can I use it separately from the other Plauti apps?
It's a good question. Yes, you can just install it separately to investigate your data. You don't need any other apps. The only thing that we have here at the top is that you can install the other apps, right? But it's not needed to have the other apps installed.
No. Nice. Yeah, and this is the question I expected, to be honest, is can I create reports from the context results?
To export those, right?
Yeah,
That is something that we want to implement later on. Yeah. All the results are actually records within Salesforce. So if you know where and how it is stored, you can create your reports by yourself.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that is possible, and then you can export it just with the Salesforce tool. But yeah, I can imagine that you just want to have a button on the context library to export those without doing other reports.
Yeah, like
from
that.
Salesforce, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, those kind of things we want to add in the future as well. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope that answers your questions, Nicolette. If you don't know how to export the reports, reach out to us via support@plauti.com, and then we can inform you on which object you have to select.
Okay.
And I see a thumbs up, so that's a good sign of this. Thanks, Jos. We'll get back to the rest of the questions if there are any unanswered later on. But please keep posting them if you have any. Really cool to see all the interaction. You said something about you wanted to go back to the slideshow because there are some things.
Before one more thing that I want to show is about the field filter. I didn't touch that yet.
Yeah, that's important.
This is basically a view. You can create your own list views. For example, see all email fields across objects, right? Not a single email from a single object, but all email fields for leads and contacts and maybe a custom object or other fields. It looks a little bit like this. Now I only ran it on the lead object, but yeah, you can already see if you run an analysis on the contact object. And from here, you can also check if you want to see the duplicate value rate among all those fields in one overview, right?
Yeah.
That's basically nice. what you can do as well. It already comes pre-configured with some list views, but you can create your own list view. So that's basically what I wanted to show with the field filter.
And is there also a way to create your own analysis?
Your own analysis?
Or an analysis, or
analysis not yet. If you are missing some analysis, also please reach out because then we can add some more analysis to it.
All right. Yeah.
You can create your own field filter list, so you can create your own list views. You can set your own thresholds, all that kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's nice.
Okay, let's go back to the slide deck. So what I said before, first thing is you're going to assess your data. You run analysis jobs across your key objects. Start with a few, maybe one or two objects. Start with a few key fields with some key analysis and run your job and get those insights. Look at those insights. Set thresholds that what define what good looks like. Turn gut feeling standards into documented visible quality targets, basically. And then do your data quality initiative to improve your data. And then monitor it. Do a scheduled job maybe on a weekly basis. Just keep track, monitor it, and see if the data initiatives had actually impact. Mm-hmm. That is what you can do right now. Or actually what we release now soon, and I showed you now some features that will be released within 2 weeks. It will be on the App Exchange, and I will show you which ones those were. Scheduled jobs will be very soon, within 2 weeks. Yeah, we have the history view will be then there as well, together with the trend indicators that you see at a glance. If the trend goes up or down based on 2 incremented jobs. And also the field insights. So that was the last thing that I showed in the field filter, to see a single graph to compare analysis across fields, across objects. Later on, future and on the roadmap, and it can still change, right? Because IDs change. Maybe we get more feedback from you guys to have more different types of analysis. But right now, what we think of later this year is alerts. you don't have to go to the job to see the results. If something terrible changed, right? If something returns critical, you want to notify you automatically when a job's finished with the results without going to the results. Maybe by email, maybe Slack notification or a Salesforce notification. Another thing, a data quality score per field and per object based on your analysis results. Field impact analysis, so more field metadata to see where your fields are used, if those are used in Apex classes or in flows, or if it misses descriptions you already have there, but if it's in reports, that kind of things, because you might want to clean up, but to do so, you need to have insights if it's actually being used somewhere.
Yeah, good point, because as an admin, you're scared of throwing deleting a field.
And then in the end, you don't delete any fields and you end up with 900.
Yeah,
right?
indeed. Yeah, I've been there, definitely.
Yeah. And then some AI-powered insights, right? Right now, what we did is based on reasoning, on human reasoning. You did, okay, we need to do a deduplicate initiative. We need to check our web forms or that kind of things. What we want to have it AI-powered. That AI can use that context that you gather, basically. That's something that we want to work with in the future as well.
Yeah. Just one question that pops up is the data quality score. Is that like setting a KPI and see if you reach that KPI, or?
Yeah, it can work like that. The idea is that you have different analysis have different impact. So a fill rate might have a higher impact than some kind of character length impact, for example. And all that together with if a description is filled in, you will get an A or a B score. And based on that, you see, hey, also later AI can use that number to see if that's actually a good field to use. And also that can be alerts if a field drops based on those field analysis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And further, let's see. Yeah, that's basically the end of the slide, the end of the demo. Get started today because with more context, more confidence. And I think also, I'm not sure if it's already, the link is already in the chat. If not, let's bear with us. We will share it with you in a moment, that you can just install it. It's for free now. The next version will be a paid version with a trial so that you can just really use it to see some insights, to see if it's a good fit for you. And yeah, it's there now in the chat. Thank you, Johan. I think it's time for more Q&A. If you have any further questions, please, now's the time, because we have some time left.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Yeah, we got some new questions. One is from Jonathan, who asked if there's any button available so you can analyze this page with all touch points and spit out a report, or do you have to input the data to the analyzer?
And that page is then on a record page or some kind of page in Salesforce, because right now the analysis is just based on the field itself, right? On the object, and field for all the records. And then we have 10 pages per field showing the field results, the analysis results for now. But yeah, drop that idea. If you have, just email us with that, a little bit more context, and we can see if we can build something for that, if that fits in Plauti Context.
Yeah, and for any ideas that you have, please go to Plauti, feedback.plauti.com. There you can share all your ideas, any feedback. So for technical questions, go to support@plauti.com. For feedback on the app with new ideas or improvements, please share them with at feedback.plauti.com. Josh and I will get informed over there, but it's also publicly available, so also other users can vote on it. So the more votes, it's just like with Salesforce, the more votes, the earlier it gets or the sooner it gets on the roadmap. And the difference with Salesforce is, I think we listen, so that's might be the difference, but okay. Another one pops in from Jonathan, and I also have one in the Q&A. So I've Plauti deduplicate. From my understanding, this is the tool needed to point deduplicate more appropriately than a human estimate. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that is accurate, and it's made
good one.
Yeah, and a good thing to point out. It checks exact matches, right? With Plauti Context, not fuzzy matches, but you see a little bit at a glance that, okay, yeah, now I see we have a lot of exact matches, duplicate issues. Yeah, and not gut feeling, you have real evidence, basically, yeah. And that's something that we want to get rid of that gut feeling of the things like, yeah, I think this is the case. I have the feeling that something is wrong here, into real evidence.
So yeah, you have to prove basically that you have to deduplicate.
Yeah.
That's what we...
Or to standardize,
or
right?
or to assign in the correct way, or...
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Oh, perfect, he says. Thanks, Jonathan. That's good to hear. Then we have the Q&A. I see there are some questions left. So this is a free tool. Yes, indeed. But the question is, when will it become a paid tool?
Yeah, so in 2 weeks, there will be the paid version on there, but we always have a freemium there as well, right? It analyzes up to an X amount of records. We have to check still also how many records you can then analyze. Some of the things like the history view will not be a free thing, but a snapshot of your data, that is something that we offer for free.
Yeah. So, and it is a standalone tool, so there's no... you don't have to have the other Plauti apps in order to use this one, although we recommend it, of course, but it's a standalone tool. Can you please share with us the recording? That will be done automatically after this call. Then you will receive an email with the recording, and you will also that one will also include the link to the app exchange where you can download the app and install it. I think we answered all questions in the Q&A. There's a new one in the chat.
Yeah, so
the free version comes without what?
Yeah, so that's a good question, Jonathan. So basically, the history view, so that you can see the trend over time, and the field insight, so that you see again the trend over time in the field filter, that is paid. Running the analysis, that's for free, but it's just a snapshot. Yeah, you don't see a trend or something like that. Like also in the future with alerts, the AI can use it, that kind of things that will be in the paid version. But running an analysis, and see those results in the job, that will be there.
Yeah, that will stay for free.
Yeah.
Another question is for the job. Can you run, because the job is created per object? Can you run multiple jobs at the same time, or?
Yes, you can run multiple jobs at the same time for different objects.
Yeah.
Right. So that's possible. It depends also on Salesforce, how busy it is. Right. You might have other jobs running with other processes from other applications. So then you can start it, but Salesforce decides if it runs now immediately or it needs to wait for another process to finish first. But yeah, you can start multiple analysis jobs per object.
Per object. Okay, that's great. I think we answered all questions. If not, let us know. If you have any, please drop them. Even if it's after the session, we get the notifications of it and then we'll reach out to you. If you install the app and you run into any questions or whatever, just reach out to us via support@plauti.com. Then we can also set up a meeting with one of us to help you set up the app. So that you have a good start. Great, no more questions left. Well, thanks all for attending. Enjoy the app. Give us feedback via feedback@plauti.com, and then on to the next webinar. And thanks, Josh, for the nice presentation. It looks awesome.
Thank you for the co-host, Johan, and I thank you everyone for attending, and see you next time.
Enjoy the day.